Take a moment to check the tag on your shirt, the bottom of your shoes, or the back of your smartphone. There's a high probability that at least one of those items is stamped with the same 3 words, Made in Vietnam. This single country now exports billions of dollars in electronics and consumer goods every year, shipping to almost every corner of the globe. But the idea of Vietnam as a global manufacturing giant was once a scenario few experts could have imagined. Following the end of the war in 1975, the country faced ruined infrastructure and a deeply damaged economy. Poverty was widespread, and many cities were struggling to provide basic necessities. For a decade, the government kept the economy isolated, attempting to rebuild through a centralized system where the state controlled nearly every industry and limited trade with the outside world.
Pacing picks up. This raises a question. How did a nation once so broken and disconnected become the factory for the modern world? Everything changed in 1986. The government adopted a new strategy by passing reforms that allowed for private business and, for the first time, invited foreign companies to invest in the country. Multinational brands saw an immediate opportunity in Vietnam's population, a massive young workforce that was ready and eager to find work. Foreign-owned factories began to appear across the country, providing steady jobs and creating the first major wave of export-driven growth. While many assume this growth was simply the result of low labor costs, many countries have inexpensive labor without achieving this kind of economic success. Opening the economy was only the first step. The real momentum came from what the country decided to build next. Instead of focusing only on immediate gains, the country channeled its resources into long-term groundwork. This meant a massive push to pave thousands of miles of new highways, linking remote rural areas to the commercial hubs where products were being made. They also invested in their coastline, building the deep-water ports and shipping terminals needed to move millions of containers onto global cargo ships. The groundwork was intellectual, too. New schools and training programs were established to teach the younger generation the technical skills required to operate modern computer systems and machinery. By prioritizing roads, shipping, and education, Vietnam transitioned from a pool of inexpensive labor into a reliable, efficient engine for global trade. Within the last decade, global corporations began facing a new problem. It had become increasingly expensive and risky to manufacture almost everything in a single neighboring country. As costs in other regions climbed, mega brands began searching for a more stable environment where they could diversify their operations. Because of the infrastructure built over the previous decades, Vietnam was ready to handle that demand, offering the ports and power grids these companies needed. Tech giants like Samsung moved in, building advanced assembly lines that produce millions of the world's smartphones. This boom expanded into every sector, from footwear and clothing to furniture and high-tech components. This surge in trade was the direct result of having the right infrastructure in place at the exact moment the world needed it. Rapid growth has brought new hurdles, like overcrowded cities and the environmental impact of heavy industry. As wages rise and the country becomes wealthier, the next challenge will be moving from assembling existing products to designing and inventing new ones. Even with those challenges, the modern skyline reflects a country transitioned from post-war recovery to a global economic hub in just a few decades. This shift from ruin to a center of global technology shows that a country's past doesn't have to dictate its future. The next time you see a Made in Vietnam tag, you're looking at more than just a label. You're seeing the physical evidence of a nation that successfully changed its own path.